Hey guys, it's time for another quick and dirty rotation video. Today I have a special treat for you guys in the form of Power Chronomancer. This guide complements the written guide for Chronomancer I made on the Guild Wars 2 wiki and can be transitioned into a simple yet effective build for open world. I've made a separate video for open world as well, both the links to the written guide and the other video are in the description. Now to Power Chrono. Power Chrono is known to be a complex choice, but the introduction of Dagger has allowed it to become much simpler to execute well, as Dagger doesn't require you to track auto attacks and has strong range damage. Over the last few days I spent a good amount of time trying to workable but simple rotation that will deal good enough damage for Chrono, and I think I found one. First off, if you intend to test Chrono, make sure to not apply Fear or Taunt to the Golem, because otherwise your benchmark will be skewed due to the trait Superiority Complex being active permanently above 50%. That isn't realistic. Generally, I will show two different rotations that differ in the degree of complexity. The beginner rotation does not involve swapping to focus after the opener, costing you like 1k DPS on the Golem. So you can still get over 37k DPS with that one with fully min-maxed gear. The general idea of the rotation evolves around your Phantasm skills Sword 5 and Focus 5. On Chrono, Phantasms are insanely powerful due to the trait Chrono Phantasma, which effectively doubles their damage per cast. It makes Phantasms resummon themselves to attack again after they finish their first animation. One of the aspects that makes Chrono complex is Continuum Split. This basically saves your cooldowns, health and position when you cast it and then rewinds you back to the start when it ends. This is a shatter skill and the time frame of it depends on how many clones you shatter. There are sheer endless possibilities on how you can use this to increase your damage, and most of them will make your brain melt. The opener I chose here involves a very simple application of Continuum Split. You use Continuum Split first, then Focus 5 and Phantasmal Disenchanter. Then use Dagger 2 to bridge the time gap until Continuum Split ends. Now you have Focus 5 and Phantasmal Disenchanter available again, given you have quickness. Use them both. Then swap to Sword to start the general Sword loop. In every Sword loop you want to cast Sword 5 3 times. How do you do that? Well, you reset one Sword 5 with your heal skill Aether Signet. That way you can use Sword 5, Aether Signet, another Sword 5 and then Phantasmal Disenchanter. Then delay the swap to Focus until you use Sword 5 another time. If you don't want to swap to Focus, just use Sword 5 on cooldown and reset every third cast of it with the Aether Signet. Always use Dagger 2 and 3, your 3 wells, the Disenchanter and Shatter 1 on cooldown. You can also use Shatter 2 right after Shatter 1 for a bit of additional damage and 1 second of Alacrity. If you decide to swap to Focus, you always want to use Sword 5 as the first and last skill on Sword. This is done to maintain a good amount of Fencer's finesse stacks for the time you're not on Sword. Chrono Phantasma, the trait, helps here, as the secondary Phantasm also keeps this up. Then on Focus, use Focus 5 once. Cast the same skills as listed before on cooldown. With this rotation you can get to 10% below the current benchmark without making your brain melt. In fights where CC is required, breakbar damage, save your Shatter 3 with 3 clones. The secondary casts of Focus 4 and Sword 4 also apply CC. Gravity Well also does a whopping 550 breakbar damage, which is a lot. Now, that's all you need to know for the simplified Power Chrono rotation. Feel free to like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. I hope this video was insightful for you and made you want to try Power Chrono. See you next time and happy time warping.